Hi everyone. I just wanted to hop on here and do a little introduction video, as I usually try to do when I start facilitating a new class. My name is Amber Smith. I am a licensed professional clinical counselor with supervisory designation in the state of Ohio. I also have the equivalent of that license in the state of Tennessee as well. I want to give you a little background information on me and then also give you some specific information about the course. So hang in there. This video might be just a tad longer than what my typical videos are. Okay, I already gave you my license. Just a little background information on me. I'm looking at my notes, by the way. I have a bachelor's degree from Ohio State in psychology. I graduated in 2006. I graduated from the University of Dayton with a master's in education in community counseling in 2010. I've been in the mental health field for 15 years or so, give or take. My first job straight out of my bachelor's degree was a case management position that I took in Lancaster, Ohio, which is south of Columbus. I worked there for a year before moving on to a juvenile probation officer for Franklin County. I was a pre-sentence investigator, so I was the one doing all of the assessments and investigative summaries for kids that had already been adjudicated and making recommendations to the courts as to what their consequences should be for their charges. From there, I moved on to work at Children's Hospital. I first worked in their intake department, just screening referrals in and out and getting them onto the appropriate programs within Children's Hospital. Once I obtained my master's degree in 2010, I went on to be a community-based therapist, working primarily with high-risk children and their families for the next 4 or so years. From there, I moved back home to where I'm from in West Central Ohio and began working at a community mental health agency here in this area. I worked there for about 3 years, and there I saw a wide array of disorders from your worst to not so bad, anything from schizophrenia to adjustment disorders. I saw co-occurring disorders, meaning the existence of both substance abuse and mental health disorders existing together. So I have some experience there. I know a lot of you are probably going into substance abuse counseling, so I did want to mention that I do have that experience. I ran several groups while I was there as well, mental health and substance abuse groups. Forgot to mention also that while I was at Children's, I was trained in a parenting model called In the Incredible Years. So one of my expertises that I love to do work with is parenting, and I still do that today. From my experience after community mental health, I went on to work in a group private practice, and I have been there for the last 6 years. Most recently, though, I opened up my own private practice, and I see primarily women here. My passions are for women's issues revolving around self-care and being a mom. I'm a mom myself, and so I can relate to the stressors of juggling a full-time job as well as taking care of your family when you fall into more of those traditional gender roles. So a lot of my passion revolves around just helping moms find balance in their lives. I also have a passion for the Enneagram. I find it very helpful in the counseling that I do as well as in my personal life. You all will see in week 1 that we actually discuss personality in depth, and I think that the Enneagram can certainly be a tool that can help you be aware of your own personality characteristics, but also help you in the work with your clients. So if you have not, I would suggest looking into the Enneagram as well as the Myers-Briggs type inventory. You're actually going to be asked in later assignments through this course to talk about which theories that you would use in counseling according to your personality. So it is very helpful for you to be aware of your personality and some of the characteristics that your personality may exhibit over others. And, you know, obviously your clients are included in that. So that's a little bit about, oh, I also forgot to mention grief. I love to do grief counseling. That actually comes from my own personal background with grief. I have lost a decent amount of people in my life, most recently being my mother back in July. And so I feel a passion to give back in that area. Grief is really, really hard to navigate, and there is really no manual to get yourself through it. So I like to walk alongside my clients and give them the space and freedom that they need in order to process their grief experience. Aside from work and professional experiences, I am a wife. I am a mom of one biological daughter and three bonus daughters. I apologize. I'm also a mom to 2 dogs and 1 cat, Scout, Archie, and Nala, and they keep me very busy outside of work. In my free time for self-care, I love to play softball and stay active outdoors. I love to crochet when it's too cold to get outside, and I love to be a learner. I'm constantly learning, constantly reading, constantly listening to podcasts, just always trying to learn something new, either about myself, about the field of psychology, or things that I'm also interested in. Right now, I am reading a book by Beatrice Chestnut called The Complete Enneagram. And next I will be reading another book that Beatrice Chestnut wrote on the Enneagram. So right now, my focus a lot of the time is learning more about personality. So that is about me. Let me talk a little bit about the course now. We will be using the 9th edition of the Gerald Corey book. I wanted to emphasize that because it looks like there is a 10th edition now out. According to our syllabus, at least, we will still be utilizing the 9th edition. I wanted to give you an idea of kind of what to expect from me moving forward in the course. Each week I try to give you a video announcement, just kind of recapping, or not recapping, but summarizing the week ahead of us, what to expect, any nuances and assignments that I've noticed to keep a heads up on, those kinds of things that are expected of you. I'll try to give you an update on when your graded assignments will be available to you, and try to keep you in the loop with all of that if any things come up. I do want to also emphasize again that some of the course material requires you to be very self-aware of yourself, and it's always good to be aware of your personality characteristics. Obviously, I've talked a lot about the Enneagram. The Enneagram is one. The Myers-Briggs type inventory is another one that people use a lot to kind of understand themselves. If you guys want more information on this, a great website to explore is personalityjunkie.com. They actually do some work where they combine the Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram, and talk about the similarities and differences and how you can learn more about yourself when you know both of those systems. Another great website to learn about the Enneagram is the EnneagramInstitute.com. Enneagram is spelled ENNEAGRAM. There are all kinds of coaches, Enneagram coaches, and experts on the Enneagram on YouTube. My favorite being Dr. Tom LaHue, LAHUE. He has a YouTube channel where he goes into depth on each Enneagram type and what they look like. So there's lots and lots of material out there. And actually, if you visit my website, www.sanctuaryoh.com, I have a resources tab on my website that lists a ton of not just Enneagram resources, but marriage resources and individual counseling resources, parenting resources, all of that kind of stuff is there if you're wanting to see more of what I encourage people to get to learn more information about those things. Also, I want to mention in week 6 of this assignment, this course, your very last assignment is a mock counseling session. This is going to be challenging for you. I remember my very first mock counseling session, and it was not easy. That's why I'm mentioning it now. It is important to follow ethical guidelines with this, meaning that the person you choose to counsel should not be somebody that you know very well. It can be something, in a normal counseling setting, we wouldn't encourage you to have a dual relationship of any kind, meaning a coworker, a friend, a teammate, anything like that. We would not encourage you to do that. But I do think in this situation, you could choose somebody that you don't know real well, but you still are acquaintances with them, a coworker, a teammate, something like that, I think would be fine. But people like mom, dad, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, probably not a good idea. You know too much about them. You cannot come from an unbiased viewpoint with people like that in your life. So please don't do a close relative. Choose a coworker, an acquaintance. Even better would be like a coworker's friend that you don't know. To counsel. You're going to choose specific theories that you want to work out of and practice, and then you're going to videotape yourself. Now, given COVID, you can do this via Zoom if you would like, and there is an option to record via Zoom, so that can be something that you utilize if you're too concerned about COVID. I want to recognize that piece. Feel free to wear masks in your session. That is absolutely fine as well. And if you're not concerned at all, that's fine too. You can use your phone. You can upload it to YouTube if they're less than 15 minutes long. Anything more than that needs to be uploaded to Vimeo, I think is how you pronounce that. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to ask, but please ask me early. You need to be prepared for this. That's why I'm saying this now. Be thinking about who you want to do this with, even maybe try a session or two with them. Choose from those sessions which one you want to use. It really is, there's lots of room to move in this, okay? So, but I need you guys need to be thinking ahead with this. You can't wait till the last minute to figure out what you're going to do for this mock counseling session, okay? I anticipate lots and lots of questions about this if it's something you're uneasy about, but what I don't want to see is last minute questions and then requests to turn it in late because you didn't understand a piece of the assignment or it was too complicated and you didn't realize that. So please be aware of this. Go and look at that assignment now and start to brainstorm. If you have any questions about any of that, please, this or anything else, please don't hesitate to email me. My email is asmith11@ohiochristian.edu. We can set up a phone call or a Zoom call time if you'd rather communicate that way. I am very, very open to those things, so please just don't hesitate to reach out. I'm also open to doing some teachable videos if you guys are stumbling upon concepts that are a little bit more complicated and you would like some verbal explanation for it. I find these videos a lot more rewarding, and you can hear from a real person what that's supposed to look like in session. From time to time, I am going to try and give you some real life examples of what this looks like in practice. I'll give you some ideas of how I use certain things with clients, what my intake process looks like, etc., etc. If you have any specific questions that you'd like me to do a video on, shoot me an email. I'd love to do that for you. So if you have any questions about any of that, let me know. Otherwise, I'll look forward to meeting with you guys in the discussion post. Please go to the cafe and introduce yourself, and I'll see you there.